Hey, we've got some bad news. The Automatons have launched a full-scale assault on 3 different planets, desperately trying to reach Malevelon Creek. We'll get into that and much more. If you find any part of this video helpful, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button and turn on notifications if you haven't already. Well, Helldivers, we've got a lot to do this time around. There are 3 assaults on 3 different planets, and the Automatons are not stopping by any means. You can see here that we must hold down Malevelon Creek to complete this brand new major order that just popped up this morning. They're currently attacking Troost, Vandalin, and Populi. What I suggest we do first and foremost is to liberate Ingmar. If we do this, we can stop the attack on Vandalin and liberate Ingmar all in one go. This means we won't lose Vandalin and we will liberate Ingmar. Once we're done with that, we have the option to either stop the attack on Troost or Populi. As of right now, Troost is under a level 7 invasion and Populi is facing a level 10 invasion. At this point, I'd suggest a Gambit on Yostodu, but I don't think that's going to be possible. The reason why is if you look here, for example, Ingmar has a low resistance of 1.50, and we are almost done liberating that planet. So if we switch over to Yostodu, which has a low resistance of 1.00, and try to liberate it, we won't have enough time to stop the attack on Troost, whether that's defending Troost or gambling on Yostodu, because the attack on Troost ends in 20 hours. The same situation applies to Mor as well. It also has a low resistance, but again, we won't be able to liberate that planet in time to stop the attack on Populi. So the best case scenario would be to liberate Ingmar to stop the attack on Vandalin, then from there, we head over to Populi next and liberate it. Why, you might ask? Well, you can see that the Automatons are most likely going to take over Populi, and from there they'll move on to Mance, considering that would be the quickest route to Malevelon Creek. But you might say, what about Troost? We won't have to worry about Troost until they end up attacking Vandalin again. I'm almost certain that'll happen. It's either they'll go after Vandalin once more, or they'll head over to Mance by sending supplies from Populi. So if we can liberate Populi or Troost when the time comes, depending on if they attack Vandalin again or if they attack Mance, we will be able to win this major order easily, because liberating Populi would stop the attack on Mance, and liberating Troost would stop the attack on Vandalin again. That's if they attack it again, right? However, this whole entire plan requires us all to be on the same page, and I'm not entirely sure if that's going to happen. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the game plan? Does it sound good? Do you have any better ideas? Do you have a better plan in mind? Let me know. With that all being said, what I'd like to go over next is the major order briefing. As always, if you're nowhere near your computer or PlayStation, allow me to go over it right now. Here's what High Command had to say. The Automatons have launched a vigorous assault on multiple planets. A large-scale offensive appears to be underway, led by the Incineration Corps. Immediate action is demanded. Preliminary analysis of troop movements indicate the likely target of the offensive, Malevelon Creek. This hallowed ground is the resting place of many brave Creekers whose ultimate sacrifices freed the planet from the Automatons early in the war. Now the enemy seeks to defile their graves. Obviously, having calculated that seizing the planet on the upcoming Malevelon Creek Memorial Day would result in the greatest net desecration. Super Earth will never tolerate such an outrageous affront to decency. All Helldivers are called to defend and hold Malevelon Creek, to unite and unleash Super Earth's righteous justice with the fullest permitted fury. There you go, Helldivers. So you can expect the Incineration Corps on the map, and they'll most likely move on to a different planet from there. I highly suggest you throw on either medium or heavy armor with a fire resistance passive to handle their fire attacks. That said, you'll have to watch out for those Incineration Corps enemies with these shotguns, because as you all know, they can practically snipe you from across the map. You've got several armor options to choose from to stop that from happening. I've gone over them from before, but I'll list them now for those of you who might have missed my video in the past. First up, we've got the I-44 Salamander. This bad boy is a heavy armor set, rocking an armor rating of 150, a speed of 450, and a stamina regen of 50. It comes with the inflammable passive, which gives you 75% fire resistance, and it's perfect for soaking up fire damage from those incineration core flamethrowers, and you also have to worry about those shotguns with the fire attacks on them too. So you can snag this one from the Freedom's Flame Warbond, so if you've got that unlocked, it's ready for you. Next, we have the I-92 Firefighter, a medium armor that's a bit more balanced for those who like to move around. It's got an armor rating of 100, speed of 500, and stamina regen of 100, so you're not sacrificing too much mobility. Like the Salamander, it's also got that inflammable passive with 75% fire resistance, which is key when you're up against scorching enemies like the Incineration core. This one pops up in the Superstore every now and then for super crits, so keep an eye out if you don't have it yet. Then we've got the I-102, another medium armor with the same stats as the Firefighter. The armor rating is 100, speed 500, and stamina regen 100. It's also packing that inflammable passive with the 75% fire damage resistance. You can grab this one from the Freedom's Flame Warbond too. So it's right there with the Salamander and Heatseeker. Last up, the I-09 Heatseeker, a light armor for you speedy types out there. It's got a low armor rating of 50, but it makes up for it with a speed of 550, a stamina regen of 125, plus, again, it comes with the inflammable passive. You already know what it does. So this one's also from the Freedom's Flame Warbond, but I wouldn't recommend light armor, because, like I've said, the Incineration core enemies with the shotguns can hit you from far away, and you're going to need a higher armor rating to shrug off some of that damage, if it's possible anyways. But I definitely recommend medium to heavy armor instead. It's also worth mentioning the hover pack is surprisingly good on the Automatons. For instance, the Incineration core enemies like the shotgun types or the laser types can't reach you or look up to shoot up at you. You'll see in this clip I can stay in the air, and there's not a single thing this automaton can do. At this point, you could use your weapon or a grenade. I forgot to remove my throw knife, so that's what I ended up using instead. However, I recommend you use something better if you're using throwables. The flamethrower isn't a bad choice either. Shout out to Dr. Mug for recommending that. So you have your options when it comes down to fighting the Incineration core enemies. Just remember that light armor is not recommended because of how low the armor rating is and how quickly these new sub-factions can take you down. Now let's switch topics and talk about the CEO's response to major orders. Last time we talked about the game director, aka the CCO's response. He basically said that, you know, players just want to have fun and do what they want, which I totally agree. But this time we've got a response from the CEO, and this is what he had to say about the whole situation going on with the major orders. He wrote, "The trick is, of course, that many just want to play and don't care too much about the galactic war." Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty much it. You know, Helldivers out there just want to play the game. They don't really care about the major orders, except for the large majority do. You know, a lot of us do care about it because, you know, it affects the story, and sometimes you can earn some pretty sweet stratagems. Like last time, we earned the whole entire Grenadier battlement. But overall, it's interesting to see his response about that. So what are your thoughts about the latest response here? Do you think, you know, players should focus mainly on the major orders, or should they just enjoy the game and play how they want to? I think this is an interesting topic to talk about, and if you have any opinions or any questions or any thoughts about this, let's talk about it down below. Next up, I'd like to bring up something that popped up in my head while I was making this video. I wanted to know what you all think about this. So we all know the Malevelon Creek Memorial Day is coming up very soon, here in about 4 days or 3 days now, and I wonder if they're going to hand out the cape that we all received in the beginning. You know, this cape right here. If they do, would you be against it? Would you be okay with it if other players got it? I mean, I'm not someone that would like to say, hey, you don't deserve it because you weren't there, but man, I think it would be cool. Or maybe an alternative cape. Let's talk about it. Last but not least, we have the top 3 comments. If you Helldivers out there would like to be featured on the channel, all you have to do is comment down below. The first comment comes from Mercenary2782. I wait for the day we get a night-themed Warbond with a broadsword, or I don't even know if I can say this word, so I'm going to block it out, with a bucket helmet. Because you know how YouTube is with certain words. Anyway, yes, a night theme armor sounds pretty cool. A large sword like a claymore or something like that. And maybe a passive that just gives you more resistance against damage. The second top comment comes from Gaming Enjoyer. Don't forget, it's Malevelon Creek Memorial Day next week. Indeed it is, my friend, and we have to make sure that we secure this victory so that we can celebrate right. And who knows, maybe they'll hand out a cape or something like I talked about earlier. The third and final comment comes from 2D Tutor 5984. Interesting name. You said, every update introduces new glitches that you quickly notice when you start playing. I wish HD2 had a larger dev team so this wouldn't happen so often. Overall, I think they need some more testers, more QA testers, more people testing certain things that others aren't testing. You know, look at certain armors, see if, something's bugged out with certain, certain weapons, just to do some more testing, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. There you go. Those are the top 3 comments. Hope you all have enjoyed the video. As always, if you can, support this video by tapping the like button. Subscribe and turn on those beautiful notifications by tapping the bell icon. Thank you to everyone that's a member. Thank you to everyone that currently stops by, whether you comment, you're subscribed, or you just check out the videos. I appreciate it so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.